happy sleeping baby, which I'm sure that all of you are absolutely desperate for. I've got 24 years experience of working with babies and toddlers, and I just know how much sleep deprivation affects the whole family. What happens is, of course, mums become very, very tired, very overwhelmed, and then they start feeling guilty because they've got this tiny little bundle and they're supposed to be all joyful and happy, and you're supposed to know what to do. And to be honest, nobody actually tells you what to do. You get lots of conflicting advice, so then you get a little bit confused. Dads also, they're not quite sure what to do because they have it in their mind before the baby comes that they're going to be doing all these things, and then mum kind of starts standing over the shoulder and kind of saying, "You're not doing that quite right. I'll do it, I'll do it." So I've got a few tips for dads, and I've got lots of tips for mums. And what happens also is when you've got siblings, when you've got a firstborn, it's, you know, it's kind of, you can do what you want to do. But when you've got siblings that you have to take on the school run, it's really important that everything's kind of all organised. And siblings, when a new baby arrives, always at the right opportunity when you're trying to breastfeed, start trying to climb on your knee, which is never good because, of course, they want some attention. What I always say to my parents is that your baby is like a blank piece of paper, and whatever you do or write on that piece of paper is what your baby thinks happens in their little world. So, for example, if you say, "Okay, I'm going to breastfeed my baby to sleep, and then I'm going to put them down and have them, you know, let them go in the Moses basket, or I'm going to give my baby a dummy, or I'm going to rock my baby to sleep," they think that's what happens to go to sleep. So what happens is, in the middle of the night time, when they come into a light sleep, they want that one thing to go back to sleep, because you've taught them that's what happens. What you need to do is rip up the piece of paper and actually write down, "My baby sleeps through the night." And the few tips I'm going to give you will help you do that. I'm going to talk about my baby bedtime. So if you start looking at the letters of bedtime, B stands for bedtime routine. It doesn't have to be very, very rigid. It's just actually reminding your baby it's wind down time, it's the end of the day. And it's actually quite nice for you as well, because you know that very soon you can be sitting down and watching EastEnders and everything and calming down, and your baby be fast asleep. All babies love routines. They like to know what happens next. And if they don't know what happens next, they get very agitated and irritated, just like we do. So if you start at about 6:30, sort of bathing your baby, when they're a little bit older, you can do nappy off time, which is always nice, and then settle your baby in the nursery. I go to hundreds and hundreds of parents, and you ought to see all the pristine nurseries I've seen, and that's because baby never goes in there. They're either in mum and dad's bed, or they're in the Moses basket or the cot next to them, or in a travel cot, and baby's probably been in there a couple of hours. Let your baby start understanding that this is their space.